Haven't said this yet. Good evening, everyone. House Committee on Commerce and Economic Development. It is Friday evening, May 22nd, 2026 at 6:24 in the evening. Here to look at the new draft. S71. And we have our legislative counsel with us, Rick Sagal. Don't see it on.
Yes.
Not yet.
I don't see it on there.
Not yet.
Oh, there it is. Yeah.
5.2. Ready? Okay. So good evening, Rick Sagal with the Office of Legislative Counsel. So draft 5.2 should be online, if not yet, soon. There are roughly 4 changes from this version, from 5.1. I'll go in chronological order of these changes. The first change is on the biometric data definition. The committee decided to go with the addition of the phrase characteristics that are collected on or used to identify a specific consumer. Okay.
No, I gotta share. Does anybody want these? Do that.
Okay, the next change, we're going through the definitions. PAI of understanding is the same as in 5.1, so no change from 5.1. The next change is in the data minimization piece. I'm sorry, the exemptions piece. On page 20, adding Title V of Gramm-Leach-Bliley. I didn't hear a clear decision if you wanted to switch over to non-public personal information. So for now, it's data subject to Title V. Okay. Going down to consumer personal rights. There's one change. The authorization is for the entire subsection A, not just A3 and 5, the entire subsection. That's on page 25. Next up is the data minimization section on page 30 or so. So there was a request after the committee was done meeting to, this kind of actually reflects what was in 4.2, which I tried to fix. And there was a request to kind of go back to what was in 4.2, not exactly 4.2, but so 5.1 said limit the collection and processing. The request is to just go to collection, limit the collection of a consumer's personal data. So the next change is after for which the data are processed, comma, as disclosed to the consumer, which is still going to be in the privacy notice. That language remains. But the 5.1, the way it was worded was that the processing was to be disclosed in the privacy notice in subsection C. So.
Perfect. Ask you. I'll turn it back. Sorry.
Yeah, I actually heard that one. Well, I guess it's not a question. Do you want to talk about this now? Because it's a big change from what I thought we talked about in the morning. And I had circulated a proposed amendment, I think, a couple of days ago. It dealt with this very particular issue because my feeling from the testimony was that the way it was written before, the phrase as disclosed to the consumer basically negated the obligation of the controller to actually data minimize, which number one, that's a weird way to phrase it, and sort of negates, I think, a real promise that we had in the bill. So I don't know what, I don't know what to do about that. I'm not in favor of putting back in something that I thought wasn't a good idea. Um, But it's 6:30, and so I'll stop talking, but I wanted to make sure that my feelings are known about that. And I'd like some way to register uh, on the record or whatever. I don't know how to do that, that I really object to this change. No matter how necessary the committee may feel it is, um, I really object to that. I don't think it's right. I, I think that to the idea that, well, we could fix this later, that's not my experience with legislation. That when you enact some piece of legislation, as complicated and controversial as this, once you enact it, it's going to be in there for a while. So I won't be back, but I think that others that are going to be back just won't have that opportunity. So I think this is the key moment. And I don't know how I raise the flag or something or whatever, but I really object to this change.
Noted and understood.
What's that?
Noted and understood.
Yeah. Journalized? Can we journalize my remarks?
You're forever on YouTube.
I'm just curious, this feels very out of the blue. It feels very like not what the direction that we were talking about, so I'm curious where this came from.
Yeah, as we're getting to the end of session and trying to get bills passed, we have to make compromises that aren't perfect, right? If this bill was what I wanted it to be, I would have a world where I could opt in to anything that I felt like and opt out and still have access, and I could pay for the things that I needed to pay for. And unfortunately, we are not in a position to be able to do that right now.
I find this incredibly cumbersome. I find that we've worked really hard to try to thread the needle here, and we talked about this at length, and it is really upsetting and disturbing to see it back. I'm curious more openly where this like request came from. I'm really surprised it's not what we talked about. But I understand, I take your point, Edie. I get that we have to make compromises, that's the whole job, but I just, as somebody who was on the committee, feel rather blindsided by this.
One more thing. So it's almost like we're putting this language in here, and it's modified kind of out of existence. And I mean, why do we even have subdivision 1 there? Because it's illusory. And just picking up on Emily's point, I don't want to put you folks in a tough spot, but it'd be nice to know whose impetus this is. I don't think any of us on the committee are real happy about it. But I think it'd be good for get on the record, maybe, who's requesting, we had something, we voted on it, and then it changed, and I'm cool, I understand. But maybe it's important to get on the record, what group requested this and why.
There's a chamber.
Okay,
They can,
maybe the why would be helpful.
they're here. Weigh in on why.
Meg Sullivan for the Vermont Chamber of Commerce. We've been pretty clear on where we're at on data minimization. We were asked, where we thought the bill was, and this was continued to be a major challenge for us. It's not up to us how you accept this or you vote on it, but that was the response, that this definition continued to be a challenge for us as a definition that was very different from what we were seeing in other states, which would make this a new area of compliance for small businesses.
Can I have a follow? I guess, I really do, and I understand you're advocating for. I guess I'm. You know. Would you agree that the phrase as disclosed to the consumer means that the controller really is able to do whatever the hell they want in the collection of personal data? No, I would not agree with that. What is left that's meaningful, Judge, in that subdivision one? In terms of a consumer right, what right does the consumer have in terms of having the control of the limited collection of personal data?
You have to have a disclosure. It has to be tied to it in a reasonable, necessary, proportionate way, which is a very tight relationship to that disclosure. And then as a consumer, you're getting 7 different rights, substantive rights. The right to know what data has been collected, the right to modify, to correct, the right to delete, to get out of targeted advertising, the right to know if your data is going to be sold to third parties. And the last one I can't remember off the top of my head.
Does it include or not a consumer consent
If it's
for that, for
with sense,
the collection,
with sensitive data, it does.
for any other personal data?
It is an opt-out. So you get a clear and conspicuous disclosure. You get a disclosure and then you can exercise your rights. And the controller can't go beyond that, which has been disclosed to the consumer. It's about consumer choice at the end of the day.
Yeah, I just see, and I won't belabor it anymore, I see that at the end of the day, the consumer will not have a meaningful right to consent to the collection of their personal data because of that phrase as disclosed to the consumer. Thank you for letting me, and thank you, Jeff.
So your options are not accept this, go back to what we had. It's there for your the discussion, and it's there for the committee to decide. Deal with. So think about it. When we're finished off the floor, come right back here and we need to make a decision, because if we're not,
Yeah.
if we want to go back to what we had before, then I don't think there's a point of moving on. Trust me. Okay, so that's what we have to decide.
Yeah.
Are we gonna hear from consumer protection advocates that represent like for just general consumers at all on this? Because all we've been hearing